Proportions. Before we get into what proportions are, let's review what ratios are. A ratio is a comparison or a relationship between two quantities. And a proportion is an equation where we set two ratios equal to each other. Here's a very simple example of a proportion. 1 to 2 is equal to 2 to 4 because they're both half. You simplify 2/4, that is a half. So these two ratios are in proportion. A non-example would be 1/3 or 1 to 3 is equal to 1 to 2. These two ratios and fractions are not the same, so they're not in proportion. They're not equal. There's more than one way to see if two ratios are equal. One way is to simplify both of the ratios, like you're simplifying fractions, and 6/4 is the same as 3/2, and 8/12 simplifies to 2/3. You can see these two ratios, these two fractions are not equal, so they are not in proportion. Another way to see if two ratios are in proportion is to use the cross product. And the cross product recognizes that the diagonals of a proportion should multiply and be equal. 6 times 10 is 60, and the other diagonal is 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60. And you should recognize that these are equal anyways because 3/6 and 10/20 both simplify to 1/2. So yes, these two ratios are in proportion. They are equal. Alright, are 3/4 and 16/18 equal? You could simplify both of them, or you can use the cross product. When I cross multiply 4 times 16, that's 64. When I cross multiply 3 and 18, that's 54. 64 is not equal to 54. These are not in proportion. They're not equal ratios. You earn $56 walking your neighbor's dog for 8 hours. Your friend earns $36 for painting their fence for 4 hours. Are your pay rates equivalent? You have more than one way to solve this. One way is to find the unit rates. The unit rate is to figure out how much money you make in 1 hour. So you would take $56 divided by 8 hours, and you make $7 per hour. Your friend has $36, and we divide that by 4 hours to find that they make $9 an hour. So clearly, your pay rates are not equivalent. You're getting paid different amounts. You can also see if the ratios are equivalent by writing the proportion. So I got $56 in 8 hours. And then I set that equal to $36 over 4 hours. Notice how the units are dollars on the top for both of them and hours for both of them in the denominators. I can cross multiply, or I could simplify to see if they're equal. 8 times 36 is 288. 56 times 4 is 224. So we can see that these two diagonal products are not equal. The pay is not equal.